All right, former President Trump in East Palestine today, providing tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and bottles of water and lots of other supplies to the Ohio community, the Pennsylvania community, all that to help them out. President Biden, nowhere to be found. His administration, nowhere to be found. FEMA and EPA, I think, may have started showing up, but that's because they knew that Trump was coming. Joining me now to talk about it, Mark Simone, WR radio show host, and Joe Concha, media and politics columnist for The Hill. And he's also a Fox News contributor with a very good book called Come On, Man. Gentlemen, welcome. Mark Simone. I mean, they wouldn't even lifted a... I don't know if FEMA's done anything. They wouldn't have shown up until they heard that Trump was coming. Biden will probably never show up. He never shows up to any place. What's your take on this?
Biden will show up, it'll be Palestine. He'll have the wrong one.
I should have seen that coming. Right.
They'll call it a political stunt, a publicity stunt. It is a little, but for a noble cause. It's forced Buttigieg to say he'll be there tomorrow.
Who?
Buttigieg. Remember him?
He's the transportation. Yeah. Right. Sorry.
If he can find it, he'll be there tomorrow.
Sorry. I'm not a prime guy, you know,
yeah.
Lemon, so I forget.
But if they ever expect to win Ohio again, the Democrats better get to work and do something here.
Joe Concha, one thought occurs to me. These are basically working folks.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm going to say, and please feel free to disagree, but I'm just going to say the Bidens don't give a damn about working folks. They just don't. It's not that. They care about climate change folks and all this other stuff and diversity, equity. These are working folks. And they just got royally damaged and hurt and health.
I'd say the Democratic Party overall doesn't care about the little guy. They used to be the party of the little guy. Now they're the party of the elites, right? Mm-hmm. And you think about East Palestine, what this town is. Eastern Ohio, classic Rust Belt, working class. Average median income is about $45,000. The national average is $70,000. Hundreds of people live below the poverty line. They are hurting big time from this. They're not just getting sick. They're not just having respiratory issues, but their property values are almost now worthless because people think that this is a toxic site and may be for a very long time. And they don't feel like they've been getting straight answers from everybody because they still are reporting nausea and headaches and all the things that go along with these sort of toxic chemicals being released into the air and water, Larry.
This is a terrible thing. You were telling me last night at dinner, 152 cars on this freight train. You shouldn't have done that in the first place. It was highly... I mean, the whole government should be descending on that, and then on the other side, helping these working folks.
Well, there was like a Hiroshima-like cloud, that plume all over the place.
Right.
Democrats claim to be so concerned with the air, the environment, they didn't blink with this. Buttigieg has been weak on the railroads. They know it. They had a 151-car train, which you're never supposed to do. And you're supposed to transport this stuff by pipeline. That's the safe way.
That's interesting.
All right, this one may not go quite as smoothly, but Joe Concha, I'll begin with you. Again, my former boss is very critical now of the ongoing war in Ukraine. The money we're being spent, the lives lost, the Ukrainian lives lost. So he put out a notice through one of his social media accounts that if he's reelected, he will fire the warmongers and the globalists who seek endless war. And he has said, almost from the beginning, but certainly the last 6 months, that if he were president, and even right now, he would lead a delegation to negotiate peace between Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. And frankly, I don't know where this war is going anyway. I'm all for Ukrainian freedom and protecting sovereignty, but who knows where this thing's going? What's your take on that?
It's only going worse in terms of direction when you consider China is now involved in arming the Russians, the Iranians as well. So suddenly you have this coalition of, talk about the axis of evil, Iran, Russia, China versus the U.S. and those NATO countries. And we see what's happening. This is a complete stalemate. The Russians can't advance, and the Ukrainians aren't going to actually go into Russia and march to Moscow and claim victory. So this is what we're going to see for years, probably, war experts say, because once you're locked into this sort of stalemate and the U.S. is obviously backing Ukraine with the right weapons for them to defend themselves, and the Russians have lost half their military, basically, in terms of their equipment, nothing's going to change. So you might as well try to come to some sort of conclusion instead of throwing money at the problem as the president seems to be doing. We don't know where this is going.
I'm quite interested to hear you say this, by the way. You know, Trump's position here, that he would lead a peace delegation, he has said several times, is the common sense position.
Well,
It is. Common sense equals Trump.
Otherwise, you get a Vietnam where China backs one side, we back another side, and it goes for 10 years. It has to be negotiated. Trump has proven he can do this. He's the only president in our lifetime didn't send a troop into combat anywhere. And look at the 4 years of peace. Putin kept quiet. North Korea kept quiet. He's proven.
They wouldn't. I know. Actually has a track record on
Yeah.
this. And if the Chinese acted up, he'd slap another couple of $100 billion worth of tariffs on that. That may or may not be the right economic thing to do, but it's mean, nasty, and brutish, and I kind of like it.
And you know what the problem is? Our media, many in media, portray Trump's position as Trump being soft on Putin, as him acquiescing to Putin.
The Russian hoax.
Precisely.
The phony Russian hoax. Trump is on the common sense side of this position. He is. It's a terrific place to be.
And he's a guy who got results.
Got results. All right, gentlemen. Joe Concha, Mark Simone. I got to jump.